We're here tonight with Matt Duke at the Vaudeville Muse in downtown Des Moines, Iowa with Insider Sessions. How's it going, Matt?
Going great.
So, how long have you been playing music? I mean, did you start when you were a kid or when you were older?
I started playing music when I was 13, and I was playing piano when I was much younger than that, but I picked up the guitar when I was 13, and I started songwriting around the same time, and it wasn't very good, but that's what got me started. So yeah, pretty young.
Yeah, and you've done really well as a songwriter, and I know you've got a fairly recent album out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us something about that?
I had a record that came out back in March called One Day Die, which I've been working on probably for like the last 2 years. I was supposed to record it back in November of last year, and then I got tied up with some other things that were sort of unforeseen, and they kind of pushed us back indefinitely, but then we picked up again in April, and I went to work with this guy Jason Finkel, who's a producer up in Brooklyn, and the best part about working with him was that he was going to let me sort of take the reins in terms of like how I wanted the record to sound sonically and sort of conceptually as well. And a lot of the songs, like in the time between when we were supposed to start and when we actually did start, I ended up editing and rewriting a lot of the material. Look back on a lot of experiences that I had as an adolescent, as a teenager, things that I didn't touch on at the time that I felt more comfortable touching on now. So the record is it's a bit more intense, a lot more personal, and I'm very proud of it.
It's great. While I'm thinking about it, where can people get that album?
You can pick up One Day Die on iTunes and Amazon, and in some brick and mortar stores across the country, like little mom and pop shops, but mostly online is the best place to get it.
Okay. Have you got a website?
I do. The website.
Matter of fact, I know you do, but
yeah,
please tell us the address.
The website is mattdukemusic.net. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and all those places too, but the main website is mattdukemusic.net.
Okay. So back to the songwriting for a minute. Is there anything in particular that inspires you to write the kind of songs you write?
I think for a long time, well, for the last couple records, I was drawing a lot from literature that I've been reading, and a lot of these books had a profound effect on me in terms of just like kind of spurring some past experiences of my own that I could relate to, and I sort of drew from all of that kind of stuff. And the more that I've been a songwriter, the longer I've been doing this, I've been drawing more and more from past personal experiences that, like I said, I wasn't particularly comfortable talking about, but at this point it's a lot easier, and it feels very therapeutic in a sense. It's very cool. So there's a lot of things from back home, friends and family that have wonderful stories to tell but don't have an outlet to tell either, and I kind of draw from those things too, and put my own personal perspective into it. Those are usually the places that I draw from.
That's great. You got plans for your next album yet?
There are no plans like for the immediate future in terms of recording a record, though. I keep writing. I mean, as soon as this record was finished, I got right back to it. There's always like a concept initially. I mean, it might fall by the wayside. It might just be a collection of songs that I'm in love with, but otherwise it's just like there's always some sort of like idea that I'll usually chase for a while. And, at the moment, there's a kind of an interesting sort of concept that I'm trying to dig into. But outside of that, again, it kind of explores a lot of. I grew up Catholic, and I kind of draw from that often, and it sort of delves into the spiritual side of things, and it might end up being about as heavy or heavier of a record in terms of the content, but it's been fun so far to be able to explore those sort of ideas.
Sounds good. So what have you got coming up for the summer as far as touring and playing?
Well, for the summer, after this tour that I've been doing with Matthew Mayfield, which has been a blast, I take a little bit of time off and kick back up in July and do a couple of one-off shows here and there in Chicago and the Northeast and stuff. But then in August, I will be promoting a new record that I'm doing with these guys, Jay Nash and Tony Luca, this project called TFDI, which comes out in July. And when that comes out, we'll go out mid-August to the West Coast, and then in September we'll go back out again to the East Coast, Southeast, Midwest, stuff like that, and that'll take up the better half of the fall. And then I always put on a Halloween show, so I'm going to do a Halloween show, which I'm getting excited about. There's a lot to do, so I'm really excited. The busier that I am, the better I feel, so this has been really great.
Okay, well, I hope you stay real busy then.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Well, before we wrap it up, is there any final thoughts you want to leave our viewers with?
I guess my final thoughts would be that aside from the fact that I'd like to plug Matthew Mayfield, who I've been playing with, to plug the TFDI record that I've got coming out in July, which is going to be great. I am just, I was playing in Des Moines tonight, that's why we're talking, because we're in Des Moines, we're doing this interview. And there was a handful of people here tonight, and they were so into the show, and even though it wasn't an enormous crowd, I think it's important to say to anybody who's watching this, if you're interested at all and you've enjoyed the interview, I would like to say thank you very much, because if it were not for you, I would not be able to do what I do now, and I really love my job. And the more you guys keep coming out to shows, and the more often I see you, the better it gets, and I'm very thankful and I'm very grateful. So I guess that's it. I'm very, very, very happy.
Well, thank you for putting on such a great show tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you for being on Insider Sessions.
This is great. Thank you so much.